Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Curtis and Christine Siemens with the Siemens Home Team. So we're going to talk about, is it a good time to buy a house in London, St. Thomas, or in Southwestern Ontario?
And a lot of people have been wondering that, and our answer may actually surprise you.
Surprise! For a lot of buyers, this is actually one of the best windows we've seen in years. So we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to get into just why this might be the best window for you to purchase a home.
So how we're going to do this is we're going to talk about this a little bit, especially the latest numbers that have come in for LSTAR. That's London's Area Real Estate Board. Sales are up, and that is compared to what it was last year at this time. So that means that things could be picking up heading into summer.
But this is the key part. Even though we've seen hiccup in the market, it's still very clearly a buyer's market. There's just way too many listings at this point for it to be favoring sellers.
Right. Buyers, you have the upper hand. Yes, there's more activity out there, but that means it's a great thing. There's energy in the market, but you're also not going to get steamrolled in a bidding war.
And it's worth putting this into context a little bit, because just a few years ago in 2022, 2023, inventory was insanely low. So we're talking about every property getting multiple offer situations, people waiving their conditions just to compete, and things just got crazy.
And that's just not what we're seeing right now. Right now, you're going to have room to get an inspection done, to negotiate a bit. Homes that don't check enough of the right boxes, you can walk away from without feeling that you've missed your one shot.
Right. So the shift in this leverage is really huge. But here's something people don't realize, is that there's many different facets to our current market, such as what type of home you're looking for, what areas, what things you need in the home. This plays a huge difference.
So, for instance, detached homes, they are moving fairly quickly. But if you're thinking of a townhome or a condo, they're sitting on the market a lot longer, which means you're going to have way more breathing room.
So if you're a buyer who's a little bit more flexible, say you're open to a townhome instead of insisting on a detached home, you're working with a completely different market. You actually have more time, more selection, more room to negotiate.
And flexibility on a property type in particular can be a real advantage for you. So let's now ask the question everyone's asking. Should I just wait for interest rates to drop?
That's a totally fair question. And the Bank of Canada has held these rates steady for quite some time now, 5 consecutive holds in a row. And the forecasts moving forward suggest things are roughly going to stay the same, at least for the foreseeable future.
So, but if rates do come down, even a little bit or really big at some point, that is going to mean that buyers who've been sitting on the sidelines are going to come into the market, and they're probably going to storm in all at once.
So what does that look like? A bunch of buyers all coming back to the market at the same time. What do you think is going to happen?
Silly. Prices go up, and you're right back in the competitive bidding situation, which again, not a favorable position for a buyer.
So you might actually get a little bit of a lower interest rate at some point in the future, maybe. But if it's a higher purchase price, you're losing that negotiating power altogether, it really cancels out.
So whereas right now, you've got more selection, more room to negotiate, and less pressure to rush, which means then you've got time and conditions for inspections and other proper due diligence.
And really, when you actually compare what the difference is in your monthly rate by 0.25% or even 0.5%, a lot of people, it's not going to be as dramatic as you would expect. It might be 50 or 70 a month.
Which is nothing compared to what you could save or potentially lose if you're going to wait for the market to be competitive for when you buy.
So let's take a minute and just talk about location a little, because where you shop makes a huge difference as well.
That's right. So right now in London in particular, we're noticing that there are areas that are way more affordable than others. So if affordability matters to you more than location or being close to certain amenities, you can really widen your search quite a bit.
So when you actually look outside London, Thomas is a great value, even some of the smaller towns outside London and Thomas. This option gives you a little bit of separation from the city, but really doesn't affect your commute so much.
And one thing we're always telling buyers, don't get too hung up on what the headline news or what the news are saying about an average price for an area. Numbers swing month to month, just based on which homes happen to sell that month.
Right. So exactly why we always say, let's look at what's happening street by street, specific neighborhoods, the places you're interested in, because that's going to tell more the actual truth.
We're ready to wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
If someone's watching and thinking, okay, maybe now is the time, what should you as a buyer be doing?
Well, first, talk to a mortgage professional before you do anything. People might want to look at realtor.ca and just see what's out there. But until you get that real number and what that payment feels like for you, you could be actually setting yourself up for a huge disappointment.
Secondly, be honest with yourself. What are your must-haves versus your nice-to-have? If you're open to a townhome or instead of a detached, you do have more options right now.
And third, have your paperwork ready. So when the right place comes along, you're ready to move. People are surprised sometimes when they find the right one right out of the gate, but then none of their paperwork is done. And honestly, you're just setting yourself up for a whole lot of headache.
So this summer, it's looking like it may be the perfect opportunity for a buyer to buy a property.
Exactly. Inventory is more than we've seen in years. Rates are steady and the numbers still favor buyers, even as activity is picking up in our local market.
So if you've been waiting for the right moment, this may be it.
Just might be the opportunity. So at this point, if every situation is different, you want to sit down and you want to go through the specific numbers. If you want to talk budget, if you want to talk neighborhood, we're here.
Yes, we are, and reach out to us. We're going to be very happy to walk through it with you and help you find the right answer and the right property at the best value that you can get.
Well, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you again next time.